Let me formally introduce myself to those who just joined us today. Okay, I'm Ming from Topliners Club, and I will be your host today. So Topliners Club is a licensed bespoke travel agency in Singapore, and we basically customize all the itineraries and recommend the most suitable experience and accommodations to our customers. So you can find out more about us at toplinersclub.com. That's our website. And together with me is Julian, who is my business partner in this company. Okay, and he is also the host for tonight, the co-host for tonight. Okay, he is also the host for our Southern African webinars. So that's happening every Monday at 8:30 p.m. So do check them out on our Facebook page or YouTube channel. Okay, and then let's move on. Next, I would like to introduce our beautiful guest speaker, all the way from Zurich, Miss Catharina. Catharina is a veteran travel professional running a Swiss travel company called Swiss Epic Tours and is our working partner in Switzerland. Hello, Catharina. Welcome.
Hello, Ming. Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm excited about today's session again. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Catharina. So Catharina has been really busy the past couple of weeks preparing for all these sessions. Yeah, so she's the main person that will be presenting all this information to you very shortly. And today we are also very honored to have Oliver, who is based in Singapore from the Switzerland Tourism Board. Okay, so now more like you're stuck in Singapore rather than based in Singapore. So Oliver has lived in both Switzerland and Singapore for a number of years. So he will be sharing some unique perspective with us, definitely. So welcome, Oliver. Hello.
Thank you, Ming. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be back again. It's always a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to join some of my Switzerland knowledge with you.
Great. We are all looking forward to that. Okay, so far, I think we have a quiet audience today. Never mind, we will leave one more questions for them later, just to make sure that none of them are sleeping. Okay, let me go on. So Topliners Web Travel Series are bite-sized travel webinars for the various handpicked destinations that we have chosen. We aim for it to be sharply focused, casual, and candid. So we will definitely endeavor to keep each session within a maximum of 1 hour as much as we can. So it depends on the length of the Q&A as well. So for those of you that have religiously joined us every session since we started, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to you for your kind support. And for those who just found out about us, we hope you will enjoy the sessions as well. So today we will be talking about Switzerland's best nature and outdoor experiences. So that have been actually specially curated by us. So we know that every one of you are yearning to get close to nature after being locked in for the past 6 to 7 months or so. So these are some of the top experiences that we hope can help you awaken your senses and enjoy Switzerland in unique ways in the near future. And then our next episode will be held on the 11th of November, 8:30 p.m. That is happening on the 11/11. Hopefully we can be doing some promotions on 11/11 on that day. Yeah, and we will be talking about Switzerland's best scenic hikes and cycling routes that are suitable for all fitness levels. Okay, so because we are getting more requests regarding nature walks, e-bike cycling as a form of tour transport, so we have actually compiled some of the best and we hope to share our knowledge in this area with you during the next session. So we hope you can join us on that session. So do feel free to type in your questions during the session as we'll be stopping as we go along to answer your questions. As we are striving to keep each session short, we will try our best to address all questions relating to the topic we have set. If you have any other questions that you feel are unanswered or not completely answered, so feel free to write to us, and whether it's email or our WhatsApp, and we will answer them promptly. Okay, the contact details will be shown at the end of the session. So after so much of me talking, let me quickly check if everybody is still awake. Okay, I would like to ask you guys one question that I'm really interested to know. Okay, what kind of activities do you now engage in to get close to nature and the dose of fresh air, since all of us are unable to travel at this moment? Okay, maybe I would like to direct this question to Oliver first while we are waiting for the answers to come in.
Yes, well, I'm here in Singapore, so the possibilities for outdoor activities are not that much as in Switzerland, but still, I live in a quite a green area here in Singapore, so my bicycle and my walking shoes are always ready. So almost every weekend you find me in one of the parks, in one of the jungles where I do my hikes, and I try to find some hills as well so that I can climb a little bit to get a feeling of mountains or something like that. Yeah.
How about you, Catharina? You are living in a beautiful country. What do
Yeah,
you
I was
do?
I was actually thinking I definitely should come and visit Singapore as well, because that's what Oliver
Sure.
just told sounds exciting as well. I do love cycling and hiking as well, but I am a leisure hiker. So I don't walk up the mountain. I rather go by train or by cable car, and then I do the panoramic walk when I am on top of the mountain. And actually, I did that last weekend.
Oh,
As you may know, it's autumn now in Switzerland, so that means the forests and all the views. You will see these beautiful colors. The leaves are changing. And last Sunday, it was a fantastic day in Switzerland, and I'm not living far away from Zurich. So I decided to take the train up Zurich's House Mountain, 900 meters high. And then I did a panoramic hike of approximately 1 hour and a half until the other side. And then I took the cable car down again. And on the way, I just had a marvelous view over the lake of Zurich, over all these trees with the changing colors. That was just amazing. And this walk precisely is not so difficult. I mean, I am a little bit sportive, but not very, very sportive. So even for me, for my fitness level, it was easy to do and easy to enjoy. So that's what I did. And apart from that, I love to go cycling as well here around the lakes in the area, through the forest. Close from where I live, I have plenty of possibilities. So those are actually the main activities I love to do in summer and autumn time.
I see. Wow, I'm so jealous of you right now. Having such a beautiful landscape to actually go into, and it's just right in front of your doorstep.
So by
It is.
coincidence, because you mentioned it before, my background picture, that's the place where you went last weekend, Catharina, right? So this
Yeah,
is the
that's
hike
correct.
you did, and that's the view
Yeah.
you had. So everyone is
Exactly.
welcome to do that too.
Nice. So personally for me, I do jogging, night jogging, probably about 4 times a week. I do some cycling as well, also night cycling, usually after work, probably at about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, yeah, at night. And once in a while, I visit the golf courses and the driving range. I'm really bad at golf, but just to get close to nature, I'm back again. so yeah, that's what I do. So let's see what our audience actually did during their free time. Okay, they do
Shopping.
yeah, trail walk. Go parks, walk. Nature park walk and jog, nature reserve trail walk. Yeah. So these are things that no wonder the parks are always full, huh?
Yeah,
So
but I like
most people are actually out there.
Chris's answer with shopping. That's
Oh
also a
yes.
nice activity.
Oh, Alan
And
has a
maybe
very
quite tiring.
interesting hobby. He does the street walk photography. So street
nice.
photography. Yeah, so that's nice. Yeah, at
Very
least
nice, yeah.
you have a certain team and focus that you are out there for. You are looking out for something. So Chris is gym, hiking, and shopping. Wow.
Fantastic.
I love your lifestyle. Okay, Paul says that, yeah, it must be very beautiful being autumn. Yes. Inghua, exploring various areas by cycling, jog, or walk, take photos. So we have another photographer here. Paul is asking, how long is autumn in Switzerland?
Yeah, autumn actually, the autumn season, so when the leaves start changing color, starts in September. So beginning of September normally. And now we are in plenty of, or in the middle of autumn. So now you see everywhere around you all these colors. Even if I look out of my window, I see the trees with the different colors. This lasts more or less until the middle of November. It depends a little bit on how mild the temperatures are. If it can happen that in Switzerland, for example, now it suddenly gets gets cold. I remember from a couple of years ago, precisely today on the 28th of October, we had already a little bit of snow in Zurich. Actually, Facebook reminded me of that because it was a publication I had from 7 years ago. So now absolutely not. It's like 14, 15 degrees. So it's very nice to be outside. So I think these colors of the leaves will last a little bit longer, let's say until middle of November, more or less. And then they all start to fall down and then we really start into the winter time. But basically we have 3 months of autumn. So September, October and November.
Yeah, so now you are in the middle of a very beautiful season.
Yeah, we are. And if you see the image behind Oliver, where I was last Sunday, of course, behind Oliver, everything looks green. But when I was there, you must imagine what you see now in green. It was orange, red, yellow, brown, all different colors. Just amazing. And then with the snow peaks from the Alps or pre-Alps behind it, it was just a fantastic combination. Yeah.
Nice. So Ellen is also asking, when you refer to cycling, Catharina, in Switzerland, are you on road bikes or mountain bike trail rides? So actually this topic we will be covering in our next session, but probably now Catharina can just briefly share with him.
Yeah, both options are possible, of course. You can go cycling in the mountains on a bike trail ride. It's possible in Switzerland. I personally don't do that. I just go cycling on the roads. And in Switzerland, we have a lot of areas where you have specific cycling paths. So you don't have to drive where the cars are driving. You are just protected from them, and you have a separate area where you can really enjoy your bicycle rides. So it's safe. And it's beautiful most of the times in nature. And a part of that, there are many boards leading you to the correct direction. So you do not have to be worried to get lost or so. Once in a while, you find an indication of where the next city is or the next village is. So then you can follow these traces and do some nice routes.
Nice. So it's not like in Singapore, when we cycle on the roads, basically I need to dress myself up like a Christmas tree. You know, I put on so many lights to warn the other drivers that I'm on the road and please avoid me.
Yeah, no, in Switzerland it's not necessary. Of course, it's always good to have protection, but we have a lot of roads specifically for cyclists.
And also the country roads, if you're not in the cities, there's way less traffic. So, I mean, here in Singapore, where you have streets with 3-4 lanes and the buses and everything, so the streets here are quite busy. But in Switzerland, you have certain areas, there is every now and then there is a car. And most of the time, if you're in the countryside, there are not that many cars. So it's really, really pleasant and joyful to cycle there.
Yeah.
So now you know why I'm cycling at 11 p.m. at night and not the other timing, because everybody is asleep and it's just me.
Makes sense.
And me sometimes.
Oh, okay. So I may see you on the road one day.
Other area, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so we have a lot to cover today. So I would like to hand over the time to our guest speaker, Catharina, please.
Yeah, I will share my screen.
Sure, thank you.
You can see the presentation we have prepared. Just see, go to the beginning, that works better. Okay, let me see the first page. Yeah, this is where we are. Okay, good. So today, as mentioned by Ming already, we're talking about the best nature and outdoor experiences in Switzerland. And here, the first slide, you can see a little bit a resume of what we will be talking about. First of all, we will dedicate some time to special hikes. And I know that in 2 weeks' time, we will dedicate a full session to hikes and cycling here in Switzerland. Today, we just have picked 3 special hikes that don't fit into that next session, but these are, they are still for everybody, but they are really some specific highlights when you would like to go hiking here in Switzerland. So that's where we'll be starting with. Afterwards, we will be talking about waterfalls in Switzerland, and we will mention 2 of them. Then we will run quickly through some sportive outdoor activities. We will talk about a farm experience in the Zurich area, which is actually also something very nice to do now in autumn time. And afterwards, we will dedicate some time to overnight in nature. So what we mean with that, you will see a little bit later during the presentation. First of all, the special hikes, and then we start with a hike with the St. Bernard dogs. So this is not, let's say, a very common activity. This is possible to do in the south of Switzerland, in the area of Martigny. That's actually the base of these St. Bernard dogs. So a part of going hiking with these dogs, they also have a foundation there where they protect these animals. They have a museum there with some information about the history of these animals in Switzerland. And they tell some stories as well, also during the hike, if you would like to do something like this. Now, these St. Bernard dogs are very famous in Switzerland because they still sometimes they are used, and they have been used as avalanche search dogs. So whenever happens an avalanche in the area of Martigny, then these dogs helped to find people, and like this they have already saved over 40 people lives. So that is quite an impressive amount. These dogs are trained for that. Now, what you can do, of course, we don't go on an avalanche search or so. It also doesn't happen very often, also not in that area. But what is possible in spring and summertime, a part of visiting this museum and learn about this berry foundation, you can go on a hike with the St. Bernard dogs, with a guide, on the mountain passes. And many times, even if you go in spring and summertime, you will face some snowy areas, as you can see here on the image on the right-hand side. So you go walking out in the nature, in the mountains, with these beautiful dogs. And that's definitely a very nice experience, not only for adults, also suitable for children. The hike is not very difficult. It's not that you have to have a great level of fitness. And usually it takes about 2 to 4 hours, more or less. You can then decide that with the guide that will take you along. It's recommendable to plan this in your itinerary for approximately half a day, because then you have time for this hike, and you also have time to visit the museum with the stories and this berry foundation. So instead of just a normal hike, to say like that, where you can go as well on your own and enjoy the beautiful views, here you actually have a 2-in-1. It's a very special experience to be outside in the mountains, walking on the mountain passes, with a guide who explains you everything about the dogs, about the stories about them, and to just be outside with these lovely dogs. It's a fantastic experience, and they are beautiful animals. So this is something is possible to do in the south of Switzerland. Martigny is located in southern Switzerland. So this is the first special hike we have. I don't know if Oliver would like to add something more about this activity, or if we should move on to the next special hike.
I can completely agree with what you said. It's a fantastic experience with those dogs, and make sure you don't miss the foundation with the museum. If you're lucky, like I was last December, they just had some young puppies, and we could visit them. And later we even followed the puppies, how they grew up, through a live webcam. And yeah, this is it was quite an impressive institution or foundation that you find there. So make sure you can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's move on to the next one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then the next special hike, we would like to introduce you first a small video. This is about a hike with a herbalist, and what to understand with that we will see in this short 2 minutes video. So I will start this one, and afterwards we will talk about this one. So let me see if I can start it.
Ce qui est intéressant, c'est que dès qu'on monte ici au Marinde, en quelques heures, on déconnecte complètement de la vie urbaine. On est vraiment dans un milieu où il y a voilà, le silence est partout autour de nous. J'ai parfois des gens qui viennent parce qu'ils veulent aussi un effort physique, mais c'est plus des personnes qui sont intéressées à venir découvrir la nature sous un autre angle. Découvrir les plantes qui les entourent, essayer de comprendre les interactions qu'il y a entre les plantes et les animaux. Après, il faut bien se rendre compte que la cuisine des plantes sauvages, ce n'est pas quelque chose qui s'improvise. Il faut être sûr des espèces qu'on choisit. Et puis, il faut aussi être respectueux des zones protégées, comme par exemple ici, dans la réserve du vanille noir. Ce qui est intéressant,
so this was just a short introduction video about the next possible special hike you could do, hiking with a herbalist. Now this woman, Aline, she lives in the French-speaking area of Switzerland, that's in the west of Switzerland. And not only she, but some more guides, of course, do this kind of things in Switzerland. She organizes hikes. And during the hikes, you do not only enjoy the physical activity and the beautiful views in your surroundings, but these hikes focus mainly on the different flora and also a little bit fauna you can find on your way. Now, it's very unique because, as you could see, regarding the environment, you are still in the mountain area, so in the alpine area. So you will find a lot of alpine plants, typical plants from the mountain areas in Switzerland. Sometimes on some of these hikes, it's possible to find more than 120 different kinds of plants. So that's really amazing. And if you do something like this and you go with a guide specialized on this kind of services, you learn a lot about the interaction between human beings and nature, of course, and also about these plants, whether you can eat them, whether you cannot eat them, and so on. Now, for this also, I would say, take like half a day, because then you have a lot of time, unless you want to do also like what she was doing. She was preparing like a kind of lunch to try the different plants that you find then on your way. But normally the hike itself takes like 3 hours more or less. Of course, you can amend it if you have less time, or if you would like to take a bit longer time, you can always do that. But the hike itself, yeah, normally like 3 hours. And then on the way you make a stop, you can even taste some of these plants. Sometimes she takes a little bit of food with her as well, and you can integrate these ingredients you find on the way. So not only you visit the places and you learn about these plants, but you can also taste them many times. And I can say this guide specifically, this Aline, she's very, very good at what she's doing. And like this, we have several guides in Switzerland who would really love to introduce you something special in our country, something that's not very common to do. So a hike with a herbalist, here then in the western area of Switzerland, I would highly recommend to do something like this in spring or in summertime. The weather is beautiful, and you will find a lot of different plants on the way. It's very educational as well, a part of being just outside in the nature. Anything to add, maybe, Oliver? Would you like to say something more about this?
Yeah, I think a hike with Aline and her colleagues, it creates a lot of awareness, especially when you live in a city and you are not aware of all those plants, and you think, yeah, this is just grass growing there. And then she opens your eyes and she shares her knowledge, and she transfers some know-how, and you will be surprised that there are many plants that actually are edible, and what afterwards, I mean, also when you try all those flavors and tastes, when you have the chance to cook a dish, this is like a one-day activity. If you combine then the cooking and the picking and the hike, you can make it a one-day experience. There is even a 2-day possibility that you can stay overnight in this mountain hut, and then the next day in the morning you just hike back. I think when you are in a, let's say, in a busy city and you go on holiday to Switzerland and you're in this nature environment, it's pure relaxation with the fresh air. It gives you a new perspective. I think this is a perfect way to charge your batteries and to slow down a bit and learn something. I mean, I think this is a fantastic, and the enthusiasm of those guides is fantastic. I mean, this is definitely something I would do again. I did it once, I would do it again, and especially also the food part.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
a question from Paul asking, are all of these plants herbal? I think basically what he means is, are these all medicinal plants as well?
This is something we should ask the herbalist and the botanist now. My understanding, I'm not very good in biology and science when it comes to herbal and plants and so on. But I think they all have like a healing effect or something like that. So I would say yes. I would answer this question with yes.
Okay. Yeah, probably I can help to answer this question as well. Paul, usually for this experience, you're not just looking at plants with medicinal properties, but you're also looking at things like florals, some herbs that you use for cooking, you know, so it's not entirely herbal in that sense. Yeah, so it's not about it's not a session about healing. It's more about nature and some of the plants that can be used for food, some of the plants that can be used for healing, you know, that kind of thing. So as you go along, the different kind of plants that you come across, she will explain to you what it can be used for. Yeah, that's basically what it's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's also, I mean, she will also show you just the regular flora, to say like that. I mean, you don't find only these cooking plants and herbs on the way, also different types of flora, and she can then explain you what you are looking at, where you can find these plants and some of them for what you can use it. Yeah. So it's really a combination of being outdoor in nature and also educational. And that's a fantastic combination. So then we move on to the next one, and well, this one is we will have a look at the short video afterwards, which is about running in the cities and running in the mountains. So it's trail running, so not really hiking. It can go a little bit faster. Let's first have a look at a short introduction video about this to have a little bit an idea of what this is about.
J'ai commencé la course à pied pour un petit défi sportif. Et après, j'ai eu toujours plus envie de repousser mes limites, d'aller plus haut, d'aller sur plus de sommets. D'être toujours plus en fait en lien avec la nature. Another chance to see the change we need. See a miracle when we walk these streets. Live the life and the light, redefined the land of the free. I can feel it, there's something in the water. Everything is possible. Les sentiers de la région de Nanda et de Vedona, on retrouve vraiment des paysages très diversifiés. Ça va des crêtes au pied des glaciers. C'est juste magnifique.
Yeah, so what we basically will be talking about is the subject running tours. And now we have two different types of running tours. One of them is running in the cities, and the other one is running outdoor in the nature, so in the mountain areas. Now, mostly in Zurich and Geneva, also in other cities, of course, but mostly in Zurich and Geneva, these city runs are organized on a regular basis. You can book them. And this is a little bit different than a walking tour. So you would go on a running tour with a guide. You just take your running shoes with you. And instead of walking through the city, you go running and stop then at several highlights. Now, maybe you think, well, this is too challenging for me because I'm maybe not fit enough or I don't have any experience on this. Now, don't you worry about that, because mostly when you go running in the cities and you go with a guide like this, they always adapt to your fitness level. So you can do partly running and partly walking if you like. You can decide the distance, whether you want only 2 kilometers or you want 5 or you want 10. You can decide basically yourself how you would like to do that. And on the way, when you stop at several highlights, some monuments, some highlighted places of the towns, or maybe in the lake area of one of the cities, you stop, you can breathe, and you get some information about what you are looking at. Something else interesting on these running tours, most of all in the cities, is that you do not have to carry on lots of water to hydrate yourself, because mostly in the cities in Switzerland, you can drink the water from the fountains. So that means you can just take an empty bottle with you, fill it up under the stream of the water in the fountains, and then hydrate yourself by drinking it. It's fresh water, it's delicious water, and it will keep you hydrated during your running or your walking tour in the towns. Then a part of that, if you're talking about going back to nature, we have also these running tours which you can book for the mountain areas. And as you can see here on the images, and also we saw in the video already, this might be a little bit more challenging. This is recommended in summertime when we know the weather is most of the times good. And then you can go running in the mountains as well with a guide, follow a trail. You can also do it on your own, of course, because there are a lot of indications of where to go and which route to follow. And then you are running out in the nature. You have these beautiful views, and it's a real challenge for yourself to run up the mountains a little bit and have this fantastic view at the same time. Now, here also, don't you worry if you think, well, this is very difficult for me, this is very challenging for me. Mostly this kind of running tours are organized in areas where there are plenty of mountain trains and plenty of cable cars. So in case you're very positive in the morning and you feel fit and you think, oh, let me do this today, let me do something like this. And then during, after a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, you get tired and you say, hey, rather, I want to go back to the valley, then there is always a possibility to do so. So it's not that you start and you have to complete the full tour. You can always decide, hey, I have had enough. I have had my 1 hour run. I just now want to relax a little bit, have something nice to eat. And then I prefer to take a cable car or a mountain train down. That's possible. But I would say don't miss it, because on these tours, hiking tours or running tours in the mountains, you have the most beautiful views. You can even organize a running tour, running close from glaciers, for example, in the center of Switzerland, close from the mountain lakes as well, and just admire the beautiful views on the way. So definitely something nice maybe to try out. It's actually getting quite popular in the last years in Switzerland, something like this. So we wanted to share it with you also today, for you know you have this option as well. Something to add, Oliver, or shall I move on to the waterfalls?
Yeah, what I like, let's go back to the city, running through the cities, especially on for example, on a Sunday when the cities are actually very quiet because the shops are closed and people are not working. You have the city for yourself. So in the morning when you do a run through the city, it's an amazing feeling, because then you really think, hey, this is my city, and you can explore basically the whole city centers, because our cities are not so big. So when you go for a 1 hour run or jog through the city, then you see most of it if you're in the center. And as you said before, and this is something I tell everyone who comes to Switzerland, the free water supply. There are so many fountains, and if there is no indication that the water is not drinkable, you can just drink it directly from the tap. Even if you don't bring a bottle, then you can just take it directly from the tap into your mouth. And this water is fantastic. I mean, it's the quality of the water you buy in the shops as well. So you don't even have to go and buy it. You just get it for free.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's also nice on not only on the runs, but also on warm summer days, for example. Exactly. If you visit Switzerland, it's good to know that you have this free water basically at every corner when you are in the cities.
Yeah.
Good. Only Zurich, by the way, maybe nice fun fact. has more than 1,200 fountains. So just, it's a small city, relatively small, so you have a lot of points where you can tap this free water and drink it. Good, so that regarding the special hikes, then we move on to the waterfalls. And here we see two images of the Rhine Falls. These are the largest waterfalls in Europe. They are located in the north of Switzerland, in the area of Schaffhausen, close from the border with Germany. Now you can visit these waterfalls all year long. And you can see there's plenty of water. This image is taken in autumn, of course. Here I refer again to the colors. You can see here the beautiful orange leaves already. And this is rather end of summer, this picture here. Now, these waterfalls you can actually visit from two sides. You can see here a small castle. You can get in by this side, and then you will reach several platforms from where you are very, very close from these waterfalls. You can basically touch the water and you can feel really the power of the water coming down. It's the Rhine River, one of the largest rivers in Europe as well. It's really amazing to be so close and feel the water getting into your face and being there and admiring the power of this water. Then you can also visit the waterfalls by the other side, and you are a little bit more distant from the waterfalls itself, but you have a beautiful overview over the area and over the castle as well. And you can take some beautiful pictures there. There is like a small panoramic walk, which you can do to take the best pictures from several angles. And it's even possible, a nice thing to know, I think, to cross this Rhine River by boat in summertime. In spring and summertime, they have a small little boat running. And then you can start, for example, at one side of the waterfalls and finish at the other side. And you can even reach, I don't know if everybody can see this very well, but here, the first picture in the middle, you can see here on the top, there is the Swiss flag. I can tell you that. Now, this is a rock in the middle of the river. You can reach here with this small boat, and then you can climb this rock to be very, very close from the waterfalls and have a marvelous view. So from there, you can take definitely the best pictures. So this is a nice morning or a nice afternoon spent here in the area of the waterfalls. And there are also a couple of restaurants in the area where you could have some nice lunch or a nice dinner with views over the waterfalls. So it's definitely a highlight, I would say, on your Switzerland trip to go to visit these waterfalls.
So maybe one of the restaurants you just mentioned is actually just opposite this middle rock you see in the picture, and they have huge windows. So you are actually sitting below kind of the waterfall, and there is also some illumination, and then you can also admire the waterfall at night. So this is quite spectacular, and don't miss the boat ride to this middle rock, because this is really, really impressive when you see, hear, feel the water masses that are coming down this waterfall. And
Definitely
next to it is also a very nice city. Maybe to mention this, it's just next to the city of Schaffhausen, with a very, very, very beautiful medieval old town and a nice fortress along the River Rhine, a bit elevated above the Rhine, so easily to combine and quite fast to reach.
Yeah, this is like approximately, I would say, 45 minutes away from Zurich City. Whether you travel by train or by car, it's easy to reach. It's not so far away.
There is actually a train station directly at the waterfall. Basically, where the picture has been taken is probably on the platform of the train station. And then there is an elevator bringing you down to the level of the river. So you don't even have to climb up and down. You can just take easily this elevator directly from the platform. So it makes it convenient to visit.
Yeah, definitely. The train crosses actually here at the bridge as well. So
yeah,
you can see
that's
how
the
close.
other. That's the other one. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So just one question: Is the Rhine Falls is the volume particularly high, in certain months of the year, or are they generally the same throughout the year?
There is a big difference between summer and winter time. Of course, must be actually in In spring, early summer should be the highest, because then the whole snow from the winter starts to melt, and then it turns into water. The water goes into the rivers, and a lot of rivers go into the River Rhine. So if you go there in winter and in summer, you will see in wintertime, maybe the waterfall is not as impressive as in summertime.
So these are some important pointers to note as well whenever you visit a waterfall. The season, sometimes they do affect the volume of water in the falls, and sometimes it also affects how grand it looks due to the amount of water inside the falls.
But it's impressive all year round. This
Yes,
one I can tell you.
Definitely.
Yeah, most of all, when you are here at the platforms and you are really close from the water, that's whether you come in winter time or you go in spring or summertime, it's always amazing to feel the power and the strength and the volume of the water. Yeah. Good, then we have some other waterfalls, and they are located more in central Switzerland. Actually, we have been talking already a little bit during previous sessions about this Lauterbrunnen Valley. This is located not so far away from the Jungfraujoch mountain. You remember the mountain with the highest railway station in Europe, the top of Europe. Now, actually, this Lauterbrunnen Valley has 72 different waterfalls. So that's amazing. So when you go to this valley, when you go to this village and you look around, near the mountains, near the rocks, you can see all these waterfalls falling down, and that's really something amazing to see already when you just visit the village or the area. Now, we would like to point out some particular waterfalls, which are called the Trimmelbach waterfalls. They are located in this area, and they are actually Europe's largest subterranean waterfalls. With underground, or formed by glaciers, underground glaciers waterfalls. It's just amazing to visit them. Now, what you can do here, a combination of visiting these waterfalls and a hike, because there is a very nice hike. I will not say that passes all these 72 waterfalls, but it passes many of them. The hike takes you, I would say, approximately 2 to 4 hours, depending a little bit on how many times you want to stop to take some pictures. But if you do a hike like that in this area, you will see many of these waterfalls, and they are really impressive because some of them are even over 100 meters high. And during a hike like this, you come quite close from the waterfalls as well. And you can see them from a beautiful perspective. That's really something amazing. Here we have just one image from the area as well, where you can see here one of the waterfalls falling down, and the strength and the power of the water here is also very, very strong. Now, these Trimmelbach waterfalls, as I mentioned, they are underground. And it's a very nice, they have like a kind of adventure walk there, from where you can, you walk over bridges, through tunnels as well, to see these waterfalls from very close by. That's an amazing experience as well. So definitely recommendable to visit this area. Maybe when you are already in the area and you visit one of the mountains there, like the Jungfraujoch or the Schildhorn, for example, it's definitely worth it to stay one more day and visit the waterfalls in this beautiful valley as well.
So you're one of the highest one. I think it is even the highest waterfall in Switzerland. This is more than 400 meters high, actually. You can see when you take the cable car up to Schildhorn Mountain, then on one hand side, you will see this waterfall. And I mean, the waterfall you see on the right hand picture, it looks like a white line, but it's actually one of the waterfall. I think this is the Staubbach fall, is I think the third highest, but it's also 300 meters or something. Very, very impressive. And I think also, since we have some guys listening today who like to take pictures, I think this could be a nice challenge to get a perfect waterfall picture with some reflections of the sun or whatever. I think this is a nice area to spend some more time.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, then we move on to the sportive outdoor activities. And the first one we would like to mention is, you can go canoeing or kayaking in the border with France. This river, which we can see here on this picture, is actually, it forms the border between Switzerland and France. So it's located in the west of the country. And it's possible to go to do this kind of sportive activities, not only for adults, also for children. It's great fun, mostly recommendable during spring and summertime. Also still possible to do something like this early autumn. If you are sportive and if you want to do something different and visit a little bit a different area in Switzerland, then this is definitely something nice to do. A little bit away, I would say, even from the common touristic places. So here you will not be likely to find many tourists. I think this is something a lot of locals like to do as well in this area of the country. So it's a little bit more off the grid or off the beaten path, but it's definitely a beautiful area, as you can see. Here also, if you would go early autumn, you can enjoy these beautiful change of colors. Imagine being in one of these boats and having the beautiful view over the autumn leaves. That's just an amazing and very relaxing experience, although you will be sportive and paddling, but it's something very nice to do. And yeah, you are just surrounded by nature. So I would say, what more do we want? Far away, or a little bit more far away from the cities. And yeah, this is the typical example of nature that wants us back, I think. Any more information, Oliver, you would like to add?
Not about the kayaking itself, but maybe about the area itself. You said it right. It's nothing that is super famous. It's more locals are going there, so this might be an interesting reason to visit it along the border between France and Switzerland. And one of the nearby towns or cities are La Chaux-de-Fonds and Le Locle, and those two cities are actually famous for the watchmaking history. So actually there are a lot of people living there historically because of the watch manufactories. And even now, this is one of the main industries up there. So if you go, for example, those Singaporeans here, if you want to buy a watch in Singapore at Orchard Road, and you go to one of those famous brands, whether it's Audemars Piguet, Montblanc, Cartier, you name it, they're all made there. They are manufactured up there in these villages. And you can visit some of those watch manufacturers, and there is even some workshop where you can assemble your own complicated watches. So this is maybe you do this before the kayaking, because after kayaking your hands might not be so steady anymore. So do the watchmaking first, and then in the afternoon you do some kayaking.
And then you definitely have a very nice day spent in Western Switzerland.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, great.
Yeah, we have a question from Paul asking, do we need to pay for the canoeing and kayaking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't come for free.
So this is basically a paid experience that is specially arranged for you, whether it's on a private basis or on a group basis. So when you're booking the tour with us, we will be checking with you whether you want it to be on a private basis or you don't mind joining other groups if there are any, for tourists from all around the world.
Okay, then we have a next sportive outdoor activity, which is dog sled rides. As you can see, beautiful pictures here from the dogs in the snow. This is possible to do in several areas in Switzerland, mostly in wintertime, of course, because that's when we have plenty of snow. Now, these dogs carry you over the snow and the ice in the area, and sometimes they go up to 30 kilometers per hour. Now, it's a very nice experience to do, and you can enjoy these beautiful views, the beautiful surroundings. As you can see in wintertime, and many times in these areas, because you are in the mountains, it's sunny as well. So you definitely have a nice, a nice time, a nice ride. With these dogs. And now I know that always when we talk about this kind of experiences, some people wonder whether the dogs are treated well, because of course we all want to give experiences that we can be conscious of what we are explaining to you. Now, in general, I can say in Switzerland, animals and dogs as well, of course, are treated very, very well. For example, this specific experience, it's good for you to know that the dogs are controlled regularly. The stronger dogs are put in front of the sledge. The other dogs in the middle position or close from the sledge as well. So if you would like to do something like this, don't worry about that dogs would not be treated in a good way or so. I think Switzerland is maybe, well, not even maybe, I could say one of the countries in the world where animal care is very, very important, where animals are treated very, very well. Just to give you an example that has not really something to do directly with these dog sled rides, but in Switzerland, for example, basically in every city, even in the village where I'm living, exist supermarkets, and specifically for animals, so where you can find everything related to these animals, typical food for these animals, everything what they may need. And of course, for this kind of experience, there is a huge control as well by the authorities to make sure that the dogs are healthy and that they are treated in a good way. So if you would like to do something like this, possible, several areas in all the country actually, and mostly in the winter time. It's a romantic experience, actually. Would you like to add some more information, Oliver, about this?
Thank you for mentioning the treatment of the dogs. I think this, I'm very happy that you mentioned that, because this is really important, and I completely agree with you that animals in Switzerland are treated very well. There is also an association in Switzerland. It's an international organization. They have like a spin-off in Switzerland. It's called PETA, so People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. They are quite active. It's a serious topic, and you can rest assured that those animals are treated in the best possible way.
Good. Then we go to the farm experience. And if you have been attending our previous webinars, you know already a little bit about the several farms we have in Switzerland, and also these typical farm shops we have been talking about, which sell this biological food and biological, I would say the fruit and the vegetables and the yogurt and so on. Now, there are several adventure farms in Switzerland as well, and we would like to mention one in the Zurich area, not so far away from Zurich city. This is an adventure farm, and it's just a fantastic experience for children, I would say. Also for adults, of course, but also for children, it's something very, very nice. What can they do there? Of course, they can see the locally grown products, and there are meals created based on these locally produced products, so you can have something to eat there as well. Something else, there is a natural playground for the children. There are a lot of animals they can touch, they can admire, they can play with, like rabbits, little goats, and so on. So that's fantastic for little children to do. Depending on the season, it's possible to pick some fruit even from the fruit trees. Think about cherries, most of all in the month July. It's very famous for the cherries. And we have the berries as well. And this specific farm in the Zurich area is very famous because they have a huge apple garden with almost 6,000 apple trees. So imagine you can go there, you can pick the apples even, try them out. It's everything fresh. It's everything very biological and natural. It's very nice. Now, mostly at this time of the year in autumn, in Switzerland, it's the time of the year for the pumpkins. Everybody is cooking pumpkin soup in my surroundings, another delicious meal you can have in Switzerland. And a part of cooking the pumpkins, many people also like to decorate their garden or their house with these pumpkins. And that's what they do as well here on the farm. I don't know if you can see, whether you can see it very well here on the image, but you see here the pumpkins lying down, and they make statues with these pumpkins as well. So that is in autumn. That is precisely this time of the year right now it's something beautiful to see. So then we are talking again about the months of September, October, and November. The farm has a beautiful view as well. You can see here the lake, one of the lakes in the area from where you can, when you are on the farm, you have this view. This picture is taken in autumn as well. You can see the change of the colors. And if you will not be traveling with children, but you would like to celebrate something in Switzerland, you can do it as well here on the farms. It's possible, for example, to organize a wedding here. That's why we have put this picture here in the middle. This shows you the possibilities that you have here. If you would like, you never know, if you would like to come to Switzerland and have your wedding here, it's possible as well to organize something like that. So, but otherwise, just for a regular meal to go there for a nice lunch or a nice dinner, it's also possible. And you can rest assured that all the products are really natural and biological. So I would say for this farm experience, if you would like to have some meals as well there, then take a full day, because it's all about relaxation. It's all about being in the nature. It's about helping the farmers, about learning how to treat the animals, how to treat these biological products. So it's a part of being in nature. For children, it's also very, very educational. And even for adults, we can learn a lot from this kind of experiences when we are out in the nature. I personally like very much to go to this place. It's not so far from where I live, and I have been there also with some children before, and that was just to see their enthusiasm, to be so close from these beautiful little animals. It's just a fantastic experience, something very, very nice to do.
I think it's only a 30 minutes drive from the city of Zurich, so it's really not far away, and always worth a visit. And since you mentioned the pumpkins, there's something that I remember. I don't know whether it still takes place. Well, one thing definitely, they produce their beer with pumpkin in it. So this is actually something you have to try. And this farm is actually quite famous because of the pumpkins. And they always have the biggest pumpkins. So there's like a competition, like for the Guinness book for the world records, who has the biggest pumpkin. And I'm not sure whether they were in there once, but I think they were. Maybe they're still in there, I don't know. But just to give an example how big those pumpkins can be, so these are not the edible ones, they're as big as, well, they did in the past, because they are close to the lake, they did actually the so-called pumpkin regatta. So they were building kind of a boat with a pumpkin. So they just opened the pumpkin, they dug everything out, and then someone was able to sit in the pumpkin and use it as a rowing boat, kind of. And they did a competition on the lake. And if this is still happening and you manage to be there on this day, that's really a fun activity to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we have a question from Paul asking about whether anyone can stay in the farm. And I also would like to add on to the question, other than staying, is it a comfortable experience to stay there if it's possible to stay?
There are several farms where you can stay. This is not, let's say, this is more like for day activities, celebrations, this specific farm. There are many other farms where you can stay overnight with your family. You even have the possibility to support the farmer in his or her daily task, like milking the cow or brushing the cows or whatever. You can help them to milk the cow. And also there are some varieties in regards of the accommodation where you sleep. Something that is definitely fun for the kids is when you sleep in the straw and in the hay. Some of them, they have like a dedicated sleeping room with bed, but some you just get something like a sleeping bag, and then you build your own bed with hay and straw, and then you sleep there. And it has a very soft, adventurous kind of feeling when you're there. And it is comfortable. I slept there like a baby. It's really, unless you have a grass allergy, then maybe it's not so ideal. But it's worth a try, and I think especially for families with kids, it's also a bit of educational.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then we go to the last, we move on to the last topic, and that is overnight in nature. Again, the slogan, nature wants you back, also at night. Now we have several possibilities in Switzerland, and something a little bit quite a new concept is this Million Stars Hotel. Now, what does that mean? These are facilities, we could say installations, which normally belong to a regular hotel or a regular installation like cable cars or things like that. And then close from these installations or close from these hotels, they built these small cabins, we could say, as you can see here on the images. This is just one example from the area of Zurich, which you can see it's completely transparent. That's also why it's called a Million Stars hotel, because you have a complete unobstructed view, mostly at night, of course, and you can see all the stars in the sky, which is absolutely amazing. Now, there exist over 50 of these kind of Million Stars hotels in all Switzerland. Actually, in all the areas you can find some of them, and it's a fantastic experience. The cabins are most of the times designed for 2 people, so a couple, for example, can spend the night in here. And these, as I mentioned, these cabins, they are put on the area, so on the property of a regular hotel, which then also means you have showers and toilets and that kind of possibilities not too far away. But the nice thing about overnighting in a Million Star hotel is that you are really out in the nature, mostly when it gets dark. You will be surprised about how much you can still see. And then many times in the morning you are offered some nice breakfast in bed if you would like that, and then you can go to the hotel, freshen up, have a shower. Some of these Million Stars hotels have also a very small portable restroom close from where you sleep, so you don't have to go in the middle of the night back to the hotel if you would need to go to a restroom. Many of them have that close by, but it's definitely, I would say, a very private experience, a very natural experience. And if you like to be surrounded by nature, this is definitely something that I think you should try out. Many possibilities in all the country.
And the good thing here is also the different kinds of these Million Star hotels. You mentioned the cabins now. There are some of these bubbles. There are tents or tree tents or something like that. There are rooftop places where you're in the middle of the city on the rooftop of a building. There are even some, and this is maybe the most adventurous one, there are some open air beds, so that you just have a bed in the middle of a field. And there, don't you worry, there is a backup in case of bad weather. There's the hotel nearby, so they have a spare room or like an emergency room for you in case you have to change your plans a little bit. And if you know in advance that the weather is not good, then actually you could postpone it as well. Mm-hmm. So, and this is the first time we did that with the tourism partners in Switzerland. It was for the summer season. Actually, it ends on the 30th of October for the summer season, but they will have the same for the winter season. And next year in summer, it will be back again. So it was quite a big of a success, and it has been announced already that it will be continued. And I think this is for one night somewhere, you should try to squeeze this in, because this is really a very exclusive experience. And the rooms are for 2 people, and it's exclusive on your own. There is not like 4 bubbles next to each other. It's just one.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the questions from Paul is that what is the cost of staying in Million Stars Hotel per night?
There is a big variety of the costs because it depends really. I mean, if you have one of those beds under the sky with no roof and nothing, it's definitely a bit cheaper than having like a rooftop lodge on top of a 5-star hotel. So we can arrange, or we can send an overview of those costs, or you can check. Maybe we can share the link afterwards, where you see all those hotels, and then you can see the difference of the prices. I will find the link. I will share it, and then we have all the information of those hotels. Huh?
Okay. Good. Then we have the last back to nature experience, and this is also something very special, I think. Namely, if you think about Switzerland, I'm pretty sure many of you think about snow. Now, of course, we do have snow, and a nice activity, a nice experience to do is to build and sleep in an igloo. Have you ever done something like this before? We have them in several places in the countries, mostly in the mountain areas, of course, because that is where we find most of the snow. Normally in winter time, so we would say December until middle of March, it's possible to book something like this. Now, I can imagine you will be wondering, like, yeah, if it's snowing, it means the temperature is below 0. So that is too cold for me to sleep. I rather skip this one. Now, don't worry about that, because of course it is an igloo, so it is ice and it is snow, and you are surrounded by this winter panorama. Yes, that is true. But on the other hand, the igloos are really prepared to keep you warm. I mean, they have like a warm winter sleeping bags inside, for you don't have to feel cold when you are trying to fall asleep in here inside. And it's also very very special that outside the igloo you will feel much colder than when you are inside, because inside, of course, it's more isolated, so you don't have the wind, you don't have those factors that makes it a little bit cold. So outside it can be fresh, it can be cold, but with the beautiful surroundings. It's a really romantic experience to do something like this. And then when you enter and you take your jacket off and you get into this warm winter sleeping bag, I'm pretty sure you will sleep like a rose in the middle of the nature. I personally haven't done it before, but I believe Oliver experienced something like this, right?
I never slept in the igloo, but I visited some of those villages, the igloo villages before. And it's really true what you said before with the temperature. So of course it's not super hot in there, but compared to the outside temperature and the temperature within the igloo, when you're protected by quite a thick amount of snow and ice, the temperatures are actually quite bearable. And when you have those warm sleeping bags and furs, then it's no issue, the temperature, and you sleep quite well. It's a nice experience there, and especially when you are there with some friends and you can have some nice food and drinks, and then it's very quiet afterwards in there, so there is no noise. So that's really, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Literally. Yeah. So definitely something, if you would like to overnight in nature, or this Million Stars hotel, or to try, why not, to overnight in an igloo, it's something attractive and something romantic, I think, to add to your stay in Switzerland.
You can show off as well when you go back to your friends, and then you show them the pictures of your tree house or your igloo. You know, then you can even do some bragging when you get up in the morning, and then you just go outside still wearing like the t-shirt only, surrounded by snow and ice. I mean, this is a picture you can really brag among your friends. So you should definitely plan something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so that for the moment was it from our side. I will share here the contact information. We referred that before, the websites and the email address if there are any further questions. But of course, we are still here. So if there are some questions in the chat, then please let us know. And I would like to give the word to Ming again.
Yes. So we have some final questions from the audience. I thought I would like to leave it to the last. So Ellen is asking whether drone photography is allowed in Switzerland, for example, at the mountainous area during hiking or even at the adventure farm. Flying of drones.
Yeah, it is allowed theoretically and legally. Yes, it's allowed. Of course, there are some restrictions in regards of the proximity of airports or airfields. It's not allowed, and then there are certain buildings, maybe because of privacy, there it's not allowed. But it is, I mean, there are quite some photographers using the drones in the mountains, sometimes even in the cities, on the lake. So yes, there is a website from the ministry where you see all the rules and regulations about the drones. So don't you worry about that. So you can bring your drone and fly with it and take some good pictures.
Okay, we also have a question from Paul. This is an interesting question. Are there any northern lights at night in Switzerland?
Yeah, we are not very famous for that.
Yeah.
There is an area actually where there are some northern lights every now and then, but not many people know that, and it's also quite unpredictable to say on what day you might see it. It is in the area. It's in the western part of Switzerland, where we usually have some very low temperatures. This is one of the well, it is. There are two places. They always compete each other. Which village has the lowest temperature in Switzerland? One is in the French part, and one is in the eastern part. And there, it happens every now and then. Yes. Sure. But it's not. I mean, if you really want to see those northern lights for sure, maybe there might be some other places.
Yeah, for the best chances to spot the northern lights, you still got to go into places where it's within the Arctic Circle, so that you basically have the better chance of spotting it. Let me see if we have other questions. Okay, I hope I didn't miss any other questions. So, okay, so any final questions from the audience? I'm also interested to know what is your favorite activity that we mentioned today that you would love to try during your trip to Switzerland. So if you can let us know in the chat box, because personally for me, I would want to do to sleep in the igloo as well as the hike with the Bernard dogs. I think with the dogs, it can actually add a very different dimension and element to the hike, especially when you can observe how they actually interact with nature. So that will be something interesting for myself. Okay, do we have any other final questions so far? Let's give it another 5 seconds or so. Okay, I think so far. Okay, so yes, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Alice. You're welcome. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank our two guest speakers tonight, Catharina and Oliver. Thank you so much for spending effort preparing for this session, and also all our audience here for taking time out tonight. We hope you had some good takeaway tonight, and we wish you a great week ahead. Good night, and please take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.